going to be making a vase today, hopefully a vase with a little bit of a base as well. And I've laid out my silicone, I've made this previously, my silicone circle, which will stop the resin from running away. I want to make it about 50 centimetres by 50 centimetres, so I've already put my little black lines there, and luckily this circle seems to be about the right shape and right size. So there's my circle, and that's where I'm going to be laying my resin. And then I'll be leaving it for about 4 or 5 hours and coming back to shape it and get it ready to dry. So I shall go and mix up my resin now, and I shall be back shortly. Okay, hi everyone, I'm back. I've mixed up my resin, so I've mixed up 450 grams at the moment. I will need to mix some more for my base afterwards, and if I need a bit of a top up I can do it then. I'm using fast curing resin by Resin. I find that one, because it is fast curing, it doesn't take quite as long to set to the consistency that I require for this particular job. Last time I used Resin all-purpose resin, and for my bowl that I've made in another video, which you can have a look at, and that took from 11 o'clock right through to the next day at 7 o'clock in the morning before I could mould it. I probably could have moulded it at about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, but I didn't really want to get up that early. I wasn't sure what was going on with it, so I got up at 7 and checked it, and I was able to mould it into a bowl. So I would recommend using a fast curing resin if you are making something like this, and then you won't have to wait as long, probably 3 to 4 hours. Okay, so I've got my resin, I've got my little cups ready with my popsicle sticks, and I thought I'd make it today. I'm going to use macaroon. I'm going to do it a blue colour today, a pearl pigment, another sapphire blue, there it is there, and also a white. So I'll try the resins today. I usually like to use the alcohol inks, but I might give this one a go with resins today. So I'll pour some of this into the cups and colour it up, and then we'll go from there. Okay, I'm back. I didn't have any more of that resin, the colours in white, so I'm going to use the resin pigment paste instead, and have to just make sure I stir it well. Just take a little dot of that. The pastes are quite good at giving you a deep colour, but I hope it's not too strong, because I don't want it too strong for my pale blue, and the other colours pretty translucent as well. Yeah, that might do. It's sort of not, I might just put a bit more. No, just put a tiny fraction more. Hope, just clean that stick. Yeah, it's not, okay, well, we'll see how we go with that. And we'll get started. So make sure this is all, I don't really want it to move, so I might just put these on the corners. I should have really taped the plastic down so it doesn't move. One more on this side. I'll get my paperweight. This is really heavy, this one. Okay, that's good. Alright. I don't know, I thought I'd try putting it through this thing here and see how that goes. But I guess if I'm going to do that, no, if I'm going to do that, I really need to put it back in the jug, don't I? So I might do that. I might just put it back in the jug. I'll start with the dark blue. Then the white. And then the light blue. Okay, let's make it happen. Here we go. And all the blues are blending into each other, but I can see the white coming through there. Quite pretty actually. I'm going to need more though, I can see that. Not going to be quite enough. Okay, I shall mix up some more and I shall be back. Okay, I'm back. I'm gonna I've mixed up my colours. I did another 300 grams of the resin. Now the resin is 2 to 1, so by volume, but I always weigh it and it seems to turn out okay. Sometimes the vessel that we put it in hasn't, doesn't have the measurements, or it doesn't have this. The bottom is smaller than the top, so if you did it by volume like that, it wouldn't work out. So I just weigh it. It seems to be okay. All right, so that looks quite pretty. But what I'm going to do this time, I'm going to try to just put one colour in at a time, or put a little bit of blue, and then a bit of white, and then a bit of the pale blue, and just do it like that this time, see what happens. Look at that. Yeah, it's a different effect, isn't it? So all together really in this, I've the first lot was for 450, and then I put in another 300 for, so that's 750 all up. So it's quite a big amount. This is the biggest one I've probably made, because I wanted it to be tall. I'm just going to try, I've made vases with 2 parts before, but I want to try making this one just 1 part and nice and tall, so skinny and tall. I think I've run out now, and I'm going to have to just spread it with my little spatula. I'll pop that aside. Wow. Okay. I need to shift a little bit of this. Don't need the weights now, so it's doing its own thing. I don't want it too tight there, because I want it to have a little bit of thickness on the edges. I don't want it too thin so that it breaks. The colours have sort of blended in, but it's pretty. I don't mind it. I shall now give it a bit of a torch with the heat gun, and hopefully that'll get the bubbles out. Now leave that to dry. I'll test it in about 3 hours to see how it goes. It's got to be, you've got to be able to touch it but not have it tacky, because if it's tacky, when you take it off the plastic or try and mould it onto something else, it'll just, yeah, it won't be good. So I'll come back in about 3 to 4 hours and check it again. In the meantime, I might try and make my bases, because I want to do 3 bases so that it has like a cylindrical effect down the bottom, and we'll try that. I'll get my resin ready and we'll pour those so that they'll be ready to go when the vase is dry. Alright, so take care everyone, and I'll see you shortly. Bye. So what we're doing now is making the base. Unfortunately, the pale blue, I ran out of the colour for that. What was that one? The powder blue. So I'll just have to make do the pearl pigment, the sapphire one. I've got that in there, and I've got the art resin paste. And I think that's from Just Resin. Okay, so for this I'm going to again just do the colours one at a time. Now I won't fill the base up completely because when we go to put one on top of the other, I need to put a bit of resin there to help seal them together. So that's just going to be, I'll have to be very careful with that. That needs powerful concentration. Okay, so let's see how we go. I'll start with the blue, and then the white, and the pale blue, which I haven't got as much of. Maybe one more. I don't really want too much more. That'll do, I think. I mixed up 600 grams of this one, but I won't need it all, so I'll be able to make something else after this. I always make sure I don't waste any. I'm thinking I might make another clock maybe with a bloom if I'm feeling that adventurous. I won't be able to video it though because my space is all taken up. So I might have to do that for you another time. I think that's it. I think we shall leave it at that. I'll give it a bit of a, I might just give this a go with the blowtorch. Blowtorch gets bubbles out very quickly, whereas the heat gun is a more gentle way, but is also effective. Okay, well I'll leave that as it is now, and I'll catch up with you later. Hi everyone, I'm back, and I've got to put this over my this I've got ready. Oh, you'll see it better in a minute, because we've got to go out, so I can't wait any longer. And it's starting, you can see it's starting to come away from the plastic, so I think it'll be okay to do now. I've marked a little spot in the center, so, and I've also used the straight edge to make sure my jar is nice and straight, because it seemed to have a bit of a lean on it. Now the trick is going to be, how am I going to take this off here and show you this at the same time? Okay, I might have to put the camera over this way. Well, let's see how we go now. I'm back, so let's see how we go. I've got this ready, as you can see. I've got a little skirt on it. I've made sure it's level, and I'm going to now place my piece onto it, and I'm hoping, this is always the tricky part, so I'm just hoping it goes okay. Oh boy, because this is a big piece, this one. Now I've got to get it, try and get it centered, and here's the center. Oh dear, see, and it's still sticky, so I'm just hoping it works okay, because I've used quite a bit of resin in this. I really wanted more of a bowl that's not a bowl, a vase that is more long, elongated, but I don't think I'm going to get that, so, oh, Jesus. It's going to fold onto itself, I can see that. And I need to centre it a bit better. I hope I'm not pulling it out of whack there, but I want the centre to be, that's it, that's better. It's always tricky. It's going to have some nice folds anyway, I think. And go in a bit. At least it's seems to be thick enough, so because I don't want any holes in it if it's going to be a vase. Sticking to itself, but I knew that was going to happen. It's got a nice little skirt on it. Very nice. This one over here, it's a real little skirt. This one here is not so much. Maybe I can coax it into a bit more of a skirt. And same with here, it's still so sticky. I can't believe how sticky it is. But look, last time I made the bowl, I left it too long and it was hard to mould. So I suppose this time it's the other way around, but at least I've got something I can work with. I don't want to get my hands over it too much and have fingerprints all over it. Not that I've got gloves on, so but you can see how sticky it is. I think it's going to have a nice little skirt, but it looks like it's got a, even though I've sort of had the centre, I think it's got to come over this way a bit more. I'm not going to play with it too much more, you know, because I reckon it's not bad. I really think it's looking, the way it's looking, it's not too bad. I'm just smoothing it down a little bit. This bit here has to go more over this way by the looks of it. It's always the trickiest bit, trying to get it the way you want it. But unless you try and try again, you won't ever do it. So you've got to be prepared to fail to succeed. So I've always been a trier. be totally, but then maybe sometimes it's better that it's not totally even. It might look, you know, you can't have handmade things looking totally even, or they wouldn't be handmade, would they? Would be manufactured in a factory somewhere. I don't think that looks too bad. Yeah, I'm thinking it's looking pretty good at the moment. It's very sticky, but that allows me to just play with it a bit. It looks like it's got to come this way, but then when I do that, then I'll go around the other way, and then I think I'm going to leave it like that and see how it comes. I don't want to put any cups or anything underneath it like I've done with the others. I just want to see how this works out with the skirt, and hopefully it'll work. So let's leave that now for the night, and we'll come back tomorrow and see how it goes. Hi guys, I'm back. Just finished this little silicone mat. If you want to see how to make it, yeah, check out the other video. I think next time though I won't put as much Vaseline on the tray, because it's at the back, it's quite a little bit rough because of the Vaseline, but it's a nice thick one, so I'm going to use it. Now there's my 3 little bases, and the tricky part here is I've got my resin mixed up. I've used some fast curing resin, and the tricky part's going to be not to overfill them, because I've sanded that back a little bit so that it's smooth, and I'm going to be placing them one on top of the other, and I don't want it to drip, because if it drips I'm going to have a problem. So I want them to sort of sit nicely on top of each other. So I guess we shall make a start and see how we go. So I might, yeah, I'll put a little bit of, I won't need all this, I've made too much I know, but I can use it for another project I'm doing. I just want a thin layer, and I don't want it dripping over the side. So there's a little ledge there, so that hopefully will stop it from dripping. Okay. I'll try just maybe a tiny bit more. Okay, I shall try and put this one on top. Without moving it too much. It's really a case of less fiddle the better when you're doing this. And now she'll put the other one on top. I made way too much resin. I'm going to have to use this for the other project I'm doing. Hopefully that's enough. I'm trying a little bit more here. Just want to make sure it grips okay. So this one. Looking good. As long as it doesn't drip. All the sides look even. Don't fiddle. If I fiddle, I know what'll happen. It'll start to drip and then I'll have to babysit it for hours. That's got a bit of resin, so you can't have any resin, because if it sets, it's not going to be pretty. I'm going to have to get an alcohol wipe and wipe that, I think, or a baby wipe. All right, well, we'll leave that at the moment and I'll come back. Okay, here we are back again and ready to unveil. I just, yeah, I was a bit worried because it looked, it was still very, very tacky. I really should have left it another hour. It was from 11 o'clock to 4 o'clock, which was 5 hours, so it actually did take about 6 hours. It probably should have taken about 6 hours. As it was, it took 5 hours, but it's, yeah, let's have a look and see. The reason I say that I was a bit worried was because, yeah, it was very tacky, so there's some bits that are sort of a bit not as smooth as I'd like. Like normally when I make these things, they're very smooth, but yeah, we'll have a look and see how she turned out. So I shall take her off here first and put that over there. Got a few bits of stuff here. Take those off. Did see, because it was tacky, it dripped as well. So I got, but look, you know, at least it dried well by the looks of it. Now we'll stand her up and over here where you can see it. Over here. So there's my little skirt that I had round around the mould apparatus. Now, I'm just hoping this plastic will come out, because of the folds. I hope it doesn't get stuck in those. There's very definite folds there. Yeah, coax it out. Oh yes, it's coming out. Oh, you beauty. I was really worried about that. Oh. I've just used just a rubbish bin bag to do this, and it's worked pretty good. Oh my goodness, it's come out. That was my main worry, that I was going to get this plastic stuck in the folds, because they're very, very tight folds, as you can see. Wow, look at that. You know, I was wondering whether I should, you know, put it back on the mould and sand it a little bit where those bits are, and then put it back on the mould and run some clear resin over it. I'm still undecided about that, but it's a vase. It can definitely hold water, and it's nice and thick, and it's got beautiful pleats inside it and outside. What do you think? Looks pretty good, hey? I like it anyway. Some little bits of black stuff there. I don't know where that came from. I'll have to get those off. But I'll just use I'll use my little snippers and just go around there and tidy all that up. And then my next job will be to do the base. So these have dried beautifully. That all-purpose clear resin from Resin is just superb. There's no bubbles in that at all. It's just beautiful. And I've got a little bit of a lip there, so I can place some clear silicone there to put the other ones on. So they'll basically be sitting on top of each other to form a little cylinder. Not sure if I'll put them like that or like that. I'll have to work out the best way. And then the bowl, I mean the vase, I keep saying the bowl and it's a vase, will sit like that on top, and we'll have a nice little bottom to it, base. Wow, that's going to look really good. So I'm going to switch off now and see if I can tidy up all these little bits, and then I'll come back to you.